Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 102. I'm John Cooney here to talk to you about comics released the 8th of January 2014, beginning as usual with my first 5, meaning these are the first 5 books I intend to read this week, and I'll give you a little more depth on them, starting with at number 1. All New X-Factor number 1. Not Brand X, Part 1. X-Factor is back like never before. Serval Industries, one of the world's most trusted names in electronics and leader in cutting-edge internet and weapons technology, has just unveiled their newest contribution to society, the all-new X-Factor. Led by mutant mistress of magnetism Polaris, the team uses its corporate backing for the betterment of society. With her half-brother Quicksilver, notorious thief Gambit, and more by her side, can Polaris trust that her corporate masters really have good intentions? Series writer Peter David spoke about the biggest difference between this and the previous series. Quote, "The background, I'd say. So much of what happens in this country stems from corporate control and involvement. So why not expand that real-world philosophy to the world of comics and have it be that a corporation is interested in expanding into superheroes? I mean, if superheroes really existed, that's probably what would happen." It more or less came from my sitting down with editor Jordan White and running notions for the new team past him. He just loved the notion of a corporation coming in and trying its hand at putting together a superhero team. We actually worked on introducing Serval in subtle ways going back a few issues. If you look carefully, you can see their logo popping up in unexpected places. That skepticism is what I'm looking forward to playing with. I'm figuring that the readers will be skeptical because they figure that corporation equals evil, and Gambit even has that same reaction. So it's a matter of convincing people that Serval is genuinely interested in helping people. Or are they? Close quote. At number 2, we've got Walking Dead number 119, All Out War, Part 5, The War Comes Home. Series writer Robert Kirkman explained about how the story and the series have evolved. Quote, "I can't say how All Out War ends. All of the communities could be gone by then, but I will say that it's all about the evolution of the story. If things are getting bigger and bigger, that's just where the story is headed. There will always be small moments with the characters as they live and survive in this world, but they'll be living and surviving in different ways going forward. I'm never going to tell another story about Rick and Carl in a house while Rick is sick, because I've told that story. Those stories have been told, and these characters have grown and evolved past that now. It's still going to be a human story, but there are bigger things happening now. Civilization is getting to the point where it can be rebuilt, and that's something that they're truly going to be working toward." Close quote. At number 3, we've got Detective Comics number 27. DC Entertainment presents this mega-sized issue featuring an all-star roster of Batman's creators, past and present. Don't miss a modern-day retelling of The Dark Knight's origin by the incredible team of writer Brad Meltzer and artist Brian Hitch. Plus an all-new story by Scott Snyder and Sean Murphy, Peter J. Tomasi and Gulliam March, Paul Dini and Dustin Nguyen, Greg Horowitz and Neil Adams, and more. Also in this issue, John Layman and Jason Fabric kick off the new storyline, Gothtopia. It's a bright, shiny, happy place where dreams come true, as long as you don't look at things too closely. Editor Mike March shared some of the planning for this special issue commemorating the debut of Batman in the original Detective Comics number 27. Quote, "We knew that we wanted to do something special with Detective number 27, honestly, since the beginning of the New 52. As soon as we had it on the horizon, we knew it was time to do something big with it. The inclusion of the Gothtopia storyline was really just perfect timing. We've been talking with Layman about doing an aggressive story that we could pursue in Detective and a few other titles, and the timing worked out really well, where we could fit this whole storyline into our mega-sized issue. We knew we had a short amount of time to put something really big together, and we also knew that a lot of these great creators had commitments doing other things. We cast our nets out and contacted as many people as we could, and we were fortunate enough to get most of the current Batman writers involved, as well as a few great additions like Brad Meltzer and Mike Barr. We also have a few guys contributing covers like Jim Lee, Greg Capullo, Tony Daniel, and Frank Miller. And we've also got a few guys contributing pinups who maybe didn't have time for a full cover. Mike Allred is doing one of those, and Jock is. There's Graham Nolan. It's a lot of different Batman creators, past, present, and I'm sure future, as well as participating in this issue. There's actually one guy who's illustrating Pete Tomasi's story named Ian Bertram, who's a relatively unknown guy, but when people see his work, they're going to go, wow, I want to see this guy drawing Batman in the future. We knew that the Gothtopia storyline was going to be the hardcore continuity monthly adventure part of this issue. So with the other short stories, we intentionally asked the guys to contribute things that were trying to comment on the timeless aspect of Batman as a hero, how he works as a myth and an icon. They were approaching it from an evergreen perspective with some stories that could be appropriate for any day and age. Close quote. At number 4, we've got All New Marvel Now .1 number 1. Here we go again. It's your one-stop entry point to the world of All New Marvel Now. Loki embarks on a mission for Asgard. The Silver Surfer and Dawn experience the cosmic rays of Nauticos. A Kree pursuer and her special forces team prepare to invade the Earth. The Black Widow goes undercover in Russia. Who is the new Ms. Marvel? And can even the indestructible Hulk survive the aid and assistance of fellow Avengers Cannonball and Sunspot? Features completely new Loki, Agent of Asgard, Silver Surfer, Black Widow, Ms. Marvel, All New Invaders, and Avengers World lead-in stories. Designed to be a clean entry point for 6 new series being launched in 2014, Marvel editor-in-chief Axel Alonso described the issue, quote, All New Marvel Now .1 kicks off 2014 in style with 6 bold new stories that offer a glimpse into the exciting future of the Marvel Universe. From the voyage of self-discovery of the new Ms. Marvel to eye-popping cosmic adventures of the Silver Surfer to the globe-spanning espionage of Black Widow, All New Marvel Now .1 is the place for new and longtime fans to dive in. Close quote. And at number 5, we've got Avengers World number 1, Trouble Map. Earth's mightiest heroes have returned from the stars, but on the world they left behind, new threats have emerged, and the Avengers will be tested like never before. In one cataclysmic day, the face of the Marvel Universe will change forever, and the fight for Earth's future will begin, a globe-spanning epic of empires and armies, and the brave few who stand between them and us. Editor Tom Brevoort explained, quote, The premise of the book is that it's the Avengers doing big things because it's an Avengers World now. But while we'll field the same potential lineup of 18-plus Avengers in World, we'll specifically be looking to give greater screen time to some of the newer Avengers like Hyperion, Smasher, Cannonball, Shang-Chi, Starbrand, and Sunspot, close quote. Series co-writer Nick Spencer went into more detail, quote, The roster is the same as you see in Avengers. It's all the team as Jonathan has assembled them. This is a book that has Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and the Hulk, but it's also a book that's very much focused on character development. A huge part of the mission statement, and something Tom was very passionate about as we were getting the book off the ground, was spending time with these Avengers and getting to know them and forming emotional connections with them and spending some time in their heads. This is very much a book where that is key. It's happening within the framework of a big epic story, but when you break down the individual issues, most of them will take an individual character and really spend some time with them and put them in the driver's seat. We're trying to find a happy medium between driving a story forward and really building out our characters. We do very much approach things from a character-first perspective. Jonathan has brought in a lot of new faces, Hyperion, Smasher, and folks that are new to the Avengers roster like Cannonball and Sunspot and Shang-Chi, or characters we haven't seen that much of in the Marvel Universe over the last decade. One of the big things this book is going to do is spend a good amount of time with those characters as well, making sure we understand why they're Avengers and what their roles in these stories will be, close quote. Rounding out the top 10 at number 6, we've got Young Avengers number 15, After saving the world, there's an after party. After the after party, it's the hotel lobby. And around issue 15, we have to clear the lobby and head to our rooms to do something jolly rude. Mic drop. At number 7, we've got Black Widow number 1, The Finely Woven Thread. You've seen Black Widow as an Avenger and even an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but on her own time she searches for atonement for her past as a KGB assassin in ways of which those teams just wouldn't approve. From the darkest corners of the Marvel Universe, Nathan Edmondson, who is Jake Ellis, and Phil Noto, Thunderbolts and X-23, bring you a new ongoing series as gorgeous and mysterious as Natasha Romanoff herself. At number 8, we've got Invincible Universe number 9, What If Cecil's Secret Strike Team unearthed in Brazil, and who will die as a result? At number 9, we've got Star Wars number 13, After a defeat by rebel forces and the escape of prisoner Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader decides to clean house. From one end of the galaxy to the other, Vader's new broom, a squad of elite stormtroopers backed by the Dark Lord's Odin lightsaber, is sweeping the ranks of the Empire. And at number 10, we've got Cataclysm Ultimate Spider-Man number 3 of 3. The question everyone has been asking, will Miles Morales survive Cataclysm? For the best of the rest from DC Comics, we've got Batman Black and White number 5 of 6. The Dark Knight's adventures continue in this latest issue of Batman Black and White, featuring stories by superstar teams including Ivan Brandon and Paulo Rivera, Keith Giffen and Javier Pulido, Blair Butler and Chris Weston, Len Wein and Victor Ibanez, and Jimmy Palmiotti and Andrew Robinson. Next, we have FBP, Federal Bureau of Physics number 7. When a straightforward time dilation takes a turn for the strange, one FBP agent gets more than she bargained for, and with a young life on the line, how far is she willing to go? We've also got Forever Evil Arkham War number 4 of 6. As the freed villains from Blackgate and Arkham continue to wage war, an all-new, all-deadly dynamic duo hits the streets of Gotham City. It's Bane and the Talon known as Cobb as you've never seen them before. And we've got Trinity of Sin, The Phantom Stranger number 15, a forever evil tie-in. With the secret of the Sea King revealed, the Phantom Stranger is faced with an impossible choice. Let the villain win or destroy the last true friend he has. Continued in this month's Constantine number 10. From Marvel Comics, we've got Avengers A.I. number 8 Point Now. The extinction of the human race begins now. The war between organic and artificial intelligence destroys the world of tomorrow, starting in Avengers A.I. 8 Point Now. Demetrius, the vengeance-seeking scion of Hank Pym and Ultron, downloads death and destruction across the planet in his quest to eradicate civilization. The Vision and his robot Avengers team up with uncanny Avengers to rescue humankind from the precipice of extinction. Meanwhile, S.H.I.E.L.D. takes a hard line against the A.I. with their elite robot hunter squad. With an android member you'll have to see to believe. The consequences reach far, far into the future, all the way to 12,000 AD. Experience firsthand the Marvel Universe of the 130th century. Fight alongside the Avengers Empire on the edge of a black hole. Witness Demetrius' final gambit against all creation. Artificial intelligence never dies, it just gets smarter. Upgrade or die. Are you human or machine? The time to decide is now. Next, we've got Cataclysm, The Ultimate's Last Stand, number 3 of 5, the biggest Ultimate event yet. Marvel's Galactus versus the Ultimates. A hero falls. Miles Morales travels to the Marvel Universe in search of clues to how to defeat Galactus. Can Reed Richards convince the Ultimates that he can redeem himself in times of disaster? We've also got Fantomex MAX, number 4 of 4, the epic conclusion of Fantomex's first ever miniseries. Can everyone's favorite French super thief overcome the agents of Grover Lane, or will he find this victory to be the one thing he can't steal? Next, we have Inhumanity The Awakening, number 2 of 2. Inhuman chrysalises have appeared across the world. Some want them, some want to destroy them, and your favorite superhuman students are caught in the crossfire. From the pages of Infinity the Hunt come more craziness from Avengers Academy and the Jean Grey School, written by the Hunt's Matt Kint. We've also got Iron Man number 20, Iron Metropolitan Part 3. The skies burn red above Iron Metropolitan as the Iron Phalanx faces Mandarin 7, Red Peril. Wait, how on earth did the Mandarin's rings get in these dangerous hands anyway? Guest starring Jim Rhodes, Iron Patriot. Next, we have Marvel Knights Spider-Man number 4 of 5. Spider-Man's 99 problems give way to one big one, Kraven the Hunter. With countless lives on the line, can Peter outfox his mysterious captors to win his freedom? Matt Kint of Mind Management and Marco Rudy of Swamp Thing continue this year's most trippy trip through madness. And we've got Revolutionary War Alpha number 1, Part 1 of Revolutionary War. Marvel UK's greatest heroes come together for the first time in 20 years to face a threat that could destroy the world. Featuring Captain Britain, Pete Wisdom, Deathhead 2, Motormouth and Killpower, the Warheads, and a host of British heroes. From Boom Studios, we've got Robocop's Last Stand number 6 of 8. OCP has won. Our heroes are dead. There's no hope for Detroit in this final battle. The city is for the taking, or so they believe. Maria has one last move to make that will change everything. OCP may have won the battle, but the war is far from over. Robocop will rise. From Image Comics, we've got Fatale number 19. Rock and roll robbery and ritual murder collide in 90s Seattle as the fourth arc of Fatale comes to a shattering conclusion. And the secret identity of Nick's present-day helper is revealed. Is he who he claims to be? And remember, each issue of Fatale contains extra content, articles, and artwork that are not available anywhere but the printed single issues. We've also got Morning Glories number 36, with the title simply Welcoming Committee. From Valiant Entertainment, we've got Bloodshot and Hardcore number 18, must-read Valiant, all-new arc, all-new jumping on point, get some, starts here. Bloodshot and the expendable commandos of Hardcore face off against a network of terrorist saboteurs in the heart of the Persian Gulf. But as Bloodshot digs into the multinational oil conglomerate that's signing his paychecks, he'll soon find himself confronted by the complex truth behind the terror, and face-to-face with an older, scrappier, more grizzled generation of superhuman soldiers from the glory days of proxy wars and state-sponsored assassination. Start reading here when comics legend Bart Sears comes on board for a 2-part action epic pitting Valiant's 21st century shock troops against the first wave of superhuman specialists. Out in trades this week, we've got All New X-Men Volume 1, yesterday's X-Men trade paperback. It's a blast from the X-Men's past. Professor X's original 5 students, Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Iceman, Angel, and Beast, are plucked from the past and brought to the present. But what they find, the state of their future selves and the state of Xavier's dream, is far from the future they dreamed of. How will these young idealistic heroes react when faced with the crushing knowledge of what their future holds? And how will the embittered X-Men of the present deal with their past coming crashing forward? When the original team comes face to face with their counterparts, it isn't a peaceful meeting, and one of the X-Men will be forever changed. Brian Michael Bendis and Stuart Eminem blaze a new trail for the X-Men, collecting all new X-Men number 1 through 5. Next, we have X-Men Battle of the Atom hardcover. The X-Men's past, present, and future collide in this 50th anniversary event. Something horrible happens to the past versions of the X-Men that shakes space-time to its core, and more X-Men arrive from the future with a message. The original 5 must return home. But when young Cyclops and Marvel Girl run away to stay in the present, the hunt is on. And where does the modern-day Cyclops revolutionary faction fit in? Things get even more complicated when the mysterious foes attack the Jean Grey School, and the healing-impaired Wolverine takes a mortal hit. With space-time up for grabs, the surprise ending will change everything as the X-Men's footing in the world is drastically altered. Collecting X-Men Battle of the Atom number 1 and 2, all new X-Men number 16 and 17, X-Men number 5 and 6, Uncanny X-Men number 12 and 13, and Wolverine of the X-Men 36 through 37. And last, we've got Ex Machina Volume 1 trade paperback. Ex Machina is the story of civil engineer Mitchell Hundred, who becomes America's first superhero after a strange accident gives him the power to communicate with machines. But the adventure really begins when Mitchell retires from crime fighting and runs for mayor of New York City. This title collects Ex Machina number 1 through 11, plus bonus features. Okay, so that's just a few of my favorite books out this week. There's still plenty of others available, and I broke out all the Marvel titles this week in their own video, as well as a separate video for all of DC, and even a video with the top independent publishers. You can find them all on my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com. And we'll also have links up on theleagueofnerds.com, our Facebook page, so be sure to like us there too. Of course, you can follow everything I'm reading on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, or Twitter. You can find links to everything in the About section at he'sgotissues.com. And a reminder that both He's Got Issues and the League of Nerds are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.